I'm sorry you're hearing it for the first time.
I am just like still in shock.
Yeah.
And I am again just...
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
And
I know it's hard, but I think I'm just going to say this not for you guys, just to you. I am your friend. Yes. You can talk to me. You can tell me when stuff is going on. And you shouldn't be embarrassed, ashamed, or feel like it's something you can't tell me.
now you're gonna make us cry again.
No, we're not going to cry.
We've already cried.
We're just going to say, I am your friend, and you can come to me for anything.
Yes.
Anything, okay?
I know.
Anything. So,
Yes.
you're not suffering on your own. Let it be our burden. Okay?
Yes.
You promise.
I promise.
You promise.
I promise.
Because you ambush me with information sometimes and I don't know what to do. It's like, damn girl, in front of them? Like, what? Hi, we are Two Buddies, One Mic, and this is episode 4. We are out here killing it. We appreciate the love that we see on YouTube, especially the Risa Tisa episode. I don't really go to the comment section because I'm afraid.
I was scared that our opinions were not going to sit well with y'all.
Yo, it was problematic. However, we still remain Kathomi.
And my name is Turife.
And this episode is one of those that is kind of close to heart because we have both experienced this. And we will start it off right off the bat. It's not been diagnosed, but this is what they're calling it. They're calling it the EDS, aka
Eldest Daughter Syndrome.
And the ghetto is ghettoing over there.
And I feel like it's more pronounced when it comes from an African setting, where you are the eldest daughter, so immediately you became deputy parent. And what used to really irritate me is the fact that you have been deputized as the parent. It's parentification, okay? From the age of since wherever you've always been responsible, you've always been, collecting dishes to go to the sink. There's nothing wrong with picking up after yourself. But then it becomes an expectation of you need to do this because you're the eldest. If you don't do this, what are your brothers going to do? And the thing that used to, irk me is the fact that I've been given this responsibility, and this responsibility comes with authority. So now when I exert my authority,
It's not received well.
Yeah, I'm flexing now. I'm the eldest daughter. I'm the one in charge of all of you. You guys now give me nicknames. You try to call me Deputy Jesus, Deputy Parent, Mukurungenzi ameingia.
Mukurungenzi ameingia.
But yeah, why it used to feel very bad when you try to demonize me, and yet you're the person who has put me in this position.
Additionally, your siblings are also making a mockery of you, and you take care of these little motherfuckers. What you mean, Deputy Jesus? You know without me you wouldn't eat?
Ati afande.
Do you know without me?
Afande saa zingine. What do you mean? I have been left in charge of you. So me telling you what to do is
kind of comes with the jurisdiction.
I'm the deputy parent. Why are you naming me?
Mbona mnani victimize kwa nini? But yeah, I think in addition to just like being the deputy parent in most households within the African community, if you are the eldest daughter, I also don't like the expectations that it used to come with. For example, in this one I've just remembered, it is that you are somehow the cook, the clean, and the entertainment when you have visitors as well. It's not just limited to like when it's just family, it's also when you have visitors or guests. You are expected to be entertaining, a gracious host. Mimi mtoto wa class 6 najua nini kuhusu entertainment and being a gracious host.
Onyesha venye unajua kusoma sentences.
Ebu imba ile wimbo ni uliimba ile siku. Like, why am I the entertainment?
And you feel the need to
Mugithi gang.
To always be that person for everyone.
You're always presenting.
Yeah, you're code switching everywhere.
It really becomes an issue because then that is what becomes you, right? When you're in the graces or the presences of different people, you act in a different way based on how you know these people will receive you. If it's church, for example, you are the staunch Christian, the God-fearing, mi hata nilikuanga youth leader. Don't play with it. Mpaka walikuwa wamenipatia responsibility ya treasurer. And the way I must spend thrift, hiyo pesa nilikuwa inaisha. Nashinda nitaanzia wapi? Pesa ya kanisa nimekula. Hey, nimekula wewe. But I think that energy of just like having to present all the time, it also became an issue later on because then you also become, I think Turi has mentioned this quite a bit, where she also became very alert in terms of what's happening. You become a reader of the room. Like you can tell what's popping, what's going on. I feel like you need to explain that a little bit more because these are discussions we've had, by the way, a lot.
I feel like, being the eldest daughter and being the deputy parent, you now feel the need to, create a community for yourself. Your parents are busy. And this is like, no, we're not trying to shame our parents or anything.
They were really working.
We're just saying they also came from this broken system. So they're doing what they can, and that's them. So your parents are working hard, they're going to work, but what they don't understand is that they've left all of this small responsibilities. They think they're small responsibilities to somebody who's a child and is supposed to be growing up. And now sometimes you find yourself always wanting to keep the peace because you've been left in charge. So when it comes to your younger siblings, you're always keeping the peace. You're always making sure they're not fighting. You're always doing something. And sometimes it even seeps into the relationship of your parents. You want to keep the peace between them. If they're arguing, you want to be the mediator. If something is happening, you want to do this. And there's that thing of where the eldest daughter is always sticking up for the mother. If your father is doing 1, 2, 3 and being a bit aggressive, who sticks up for everyone else?
Unfortunately, it's you.
It's always the eldest daughter who will come up and say, I know you're not talking to my mom like that. I know you're not talking to my mom. I know you're not trying to fight anyone in this house. So you're always stepping up for people. You're always trying to protect people. But who is protecting you? That's the question.
I also didn't like the fact that now because you're always caught up between these two people, you're always, again, the mediator, you always are trying not to bring up your own shit. Because if the parents are going through things, and I think, again, this is something you've mentioned quite a bit, where if the mom comes and tells you what the dad did, and the dad comes and tells you what the mom did, and now, unfortunately, you can't pick sides and you can't snitch on either of them.
You're now
holding information that is way too heavy for you at that age. And this unfortunately becomes a burden, so much so that when you're going through your own shit, who are you going to talk to? Like, who are you going to vent to? You can't talk to your siblings. They already consider you this elder. They look at you with reverence. You can't consult your parents because now they're kind of making it look like you're equals, and so you should be able to handle your own shit. And also you don't want to pile on because you adding things will cause a rift. Look at your daughter. This is your daughter. That thing where if you're doing something wrong, your father will always say, angalia msichana wako.
Exactly.
And always when you're doing something wrong, angalia msichana wako. And when you've done something right, it's like, this is my daughter. They always take ownership only when you're on the right. So I hated having to be put in the middle of that because I didn't quite like that feeling. And then it now became an evolution of it was a responsibility that you didn't want, now you're doing. But in addition to that, you're now kind of in that level of equality where now your parents can't parent you properly. Because they also don't want to mess up things with you at the cost of, if we mess up with her, guess what? We don't have someone to take care of these children after we've left. So there is also that unfortunate situation where your parents don't parent you properly. Because of that, again, weird and equal level of respect, which they also unfortunately end up giving you because of the responsibility that has been bestowed upon you. And I hated having to feel like I could sit down with my parents and talk to them like we're equals when we really aren't. They really should have been parents. So I really didn't like that. didn't.
And just the hyper independence that comes from all of this, as she has mentioned, you don't want to tell people your problem, so you try to find a solution
outside
on your own. And even you can't even go to your siblings because they're looking for you for solutions. So why are you going to them to ask for solutions for your own life or your own messes? And this will seep into your adulthood because sometimes when somebody comes to me needing a solution for me, I get very irritated because my go-to is, why can't you do it yourself? Why can't you figure it out yourself? I had to figure it out myself. And sometimes, you're tired. You've been a parent ever since forever. So you're feeling a bit resentful. Most older daughters will shun from getting children.
Yeah.
Or getting too many children.
Yep.
Because you feel like you've always
you've been there, done that, have a t-shirt and a bag of chips.
The role of a parent.
There is nothing new to it.
Now you're wondering, why can't somebody just take care of me?
Yep.
Why can't I be the one being taken care of? I'm always taking care.
Baby girl.
And I think I even told Kathawi this story about recently.
Yeah.
We're planning for a vacation. And, we're talking through. It's a nice thing to plan for a vacation.
Amazing. Babe, you're offering a vacation? Yes.
But I got very irritated very quickly because I realized they came up with the idea. Well, good, excited. But I was the one doing all the planning.
Execution.
And all the implementing and all. And I was like, why can't you just tell me to show up?
Oh,
I understand we're going on a vacation, but I just want to show up because I'm always doing the planning. Even at home, you're taking care of the children. You've known what to cook for supper ever since you could cook. You've been planning what people are eating for supper.
Tunavaa nini?
Those are the hardest decisions.
Ngoza Sunday zimefuliwa. Are we ready for Sunday? Like everything is just like it's like people come to you for
every single day.
Is it?
I have a mental load that I carry around. Okay, my son, has he been picked from school? Has he eaten? Has his bike been fixed? Has he done this? And even when I delegate it,
he was coughing. Did I take him to hospital?
Even when I delegate all of these small tasks, I still have to. The mental load is still there. So for us to plan a vacation and I'm still part of the mental load, I think I was just I started crying immediately. I'm like, why can't I just show up? I just want to show up.
Oh, no.
Tell me I'm picking you up after work and the bags are in the car. Just show up. That is all I want.
You know all my clothes. You know everything. You know where we're going.
Exactly.
So you know what clothes we're doing.
I don't want to plan.
Just do it.
If possible, can you blindfold me? Even through customs. Tunapita tu nikiwa hivi.
Sure.
Wambi, I am blind. I am mentally, So you just want somebody to show up for you the way you show up for other people. And when that expectation is not met, you feel a bit lonely.
It's resentment. And it's like a mixture of resentment, anger, and just like, why can't you tell I need you to do this?
And then you circle back to hyper independence because you've realized no one can show up for you the way you're showing up for them.
Pretty much now you have to do all the heavy lifting. Fine, I'll do it then.
I'll do it myself.
Fine, it's okay.
I don't need all of you.
Okay. And it becomes also annoying because like your partner doesn't quite understand where you're coming from. It's like they are doing this nice thing and then you're being a little bitchy about it. So they're like, why are you acting like this? Like, I'm doing this nice thing for us. But I'm like, if you're gonna do the nice thing, do the nice thing.
All of it from start
A to Z
to finish.
Why are we
Let's go on a date. Plan the date from start, where we're going, how I'm getting there to finish. Don't tell me let's go for a date and then ask me what restaurants do you like. I will stab you in your sleep. What do you mean?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my days, I can't even. Well, for me then it became the complete opposite where because I did so much and I realized that, I think I mentioned this again as well, where like I've had quite a bit of just like stuff, but it now started like piling on to the point where it's becoming a load, because I think there was a lot of my childhood was just struggling and doing too much. Like I really, as you said, like the hyper independence. I remember even making a phone call to this random friend my dad had introduced us to. There's some rich Italian guy And because my dad had refused to pay for school fees, or it was something like that. I didn't quite understand that story, but somehow I wasn't going to get school fees, so I was going to get really late to go back to school, and it didn't seem like he was making this happen anytime soon. So unfortunately, because my mom, again, she treated me like an adult, she told me this information. So what does my adolescent brain do? I'm like, I need a solution. So what do? I called someone who I knew would be able to do it. I called my dad's friend, and I was telling him about this. I'm like, please, can you just like sort me out for school? My mom will pay you back whenever like the money comes through, yada, yada, yada. So it became like a whole thing, because now my dad is calling it was just like a whole mess. My dad calls my mom, is like, why are you embarrassing me in front of my friends? And my mom is like, what are you talking about? Because she didn't even know that I had done this. And then it's just like, anyway, so I've been in this ghetto for a while of like figuring out my school, what am I going to do, da, 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 da. So that was already like a mental load, right? And then we end up losing my mom, and that just became like a whole thing where it was just like, what the fuck? Because I had expectations for my dad. Like I expected, like he will pull through. He did not. He would be the dad. You know, he would fill the gap, which had clearly been left, but he didn't. And less than a year later, he'd met this Tanzanian chick, and now they're married. Information we are not being told until almost after the fact. I wasn't even invited to that wedding. Did I tell you that story? Ugh, such a mess. Anyway, so basically I am having the fact that I'm taking care of everything at home, because now the house has been left to me. I'm taking care of everything at home. What are people eating? What are people drinking? Have we Have we paid for rent? Have we paid for, not rent, sorry. Have we paid for water? Have we paid for all that is on me, right? And then I don't have a friend to talk to, because we were very close with my mom. And then cross forward to now my dad is getting married, and potentially this mama is about to come and live at our house. I'm just like, how am I going to do this? And then it's like, and then I had so many things going on in my mind. So I got like really, really withdrawn, angry and stuff. And I went to therapy for the first time in my life. And I think when I spoke to this lady, she told me, you are lethargic.
You're just tired.
You don't have a problem. You're not really stressed. You're not depressed or anything. You're just lethargic. You've had too much on your plate. So what we're going to do is we're going to start like undoing too much thinking and overanalyzing and overthinking and over, and just teach you how to just like, boop. So, nikambiwa, don't do anything. If there is a problem, solve it where you can. The rest, leave it. The moment I started doing that, I started realizing, wait a minute.
The world does not stop when I don't fix other people's problems.
Yes, people figure it out. Things work themselves out. So now I'm just like, hang on. Y'all mean I can just chill? Nikakanyaga break.
I don't need to solve your issues.
I am just going to be on cruise control. But now I've overdone it. Like I've overdone it. Relax mpaka umerelax. Tunakula nini? What do you want? What do you want?
Come kwa njaa mkule. Imetu mkikula mkate.
Bebe, what do you want? Hey, okay. So it's just like now I'm like super, super chill. Like I never worry about something. And it goes to the point where it now starts to look like I'm being like, just like a, what's the word? There's a word for it. Where just like, you're too easy. You're just like nothing bothers me. Like, yeah, a happy-go-lucky. Where you're just happy-go-lucky. I'm just like, I'm happy to be here. Let's just like, yeah, you want it?
The
like,
vibes are vibing.
Yeah, let's just go. Like, so it's now a thing that I have to now unlearn again and learn properly, because then I just overdid it. So I think that's another problem. You either become overly assertive, and then you end up having a breakdown, and then now you have to learn how to chill, and then sometimes you overcorrect that, and then now you have to relearn how to like have a little bit of just like, a little bit of bite, like a little bit of like kidogo.
And we have mentioned that, eldest daughter syndrome is not clinically diagnosed. It's just something that we're self-diagnosing. We've seen this, the title has been coined, but at the same time, these are things that are really real to a lot of us.
Yes.
A lot of the eldest daughters in most households.
Yes.
The thing about you're always worrying and you're always anxious. worrying and anxious. As Kafami has said, you're always worrying about other people's problems. You're always trying to find a solution for them. You're always worrying about something. And sometimes it even seeps to being over controlling.
Yes.
Because
you have to do
I
things
have to do this and I have to do this my way.
Because you had no one to run to. So if you had to figure it out, then now you overdo it.
Control issues. You have to be in control of the narrative, and if it doesn't go your way, you're very you're pissing me off. And the fact that I have a very easygoing partner, sometimes I get away with it a lot.
Like it feels like you're bullying them a little bit.
We're doing this my way. You do if you want to. You do what you want, but me.
It's
very hard to change my mind when it comes to doing what I want to do. We've said we are going on a road trip on this day. If by chance, by bad luck, things are not, on his end, are not ready, I'm like,
I'm going.
I don't know what you need to do, but you planted this seed in my head.
I'm going.
So I am going.
I
don't know if you're going to catch up with me later.
You do what you need to do, but I'm going.
And sometimes you look back and you feel you're scared that they're going to become resentful of you, that you have to do everything your way. But you don't know how to do things differently. You've always been in charge and in control, and it becomes a bit excessive. And the thing about anxiety and always being worried is the fact that I can't go to sleep and just sleep.
Oh, child. Insomnia.
I can't get to bed and just no. I have to run every scenario in my head. And I get so irritated because, hey, somebody, you're going to sleep the same time. 2 minutes, they're already snoring. Less than 2. They're already snoring and kicking the blankets. I'm like, how dare you? Do you not know that global warming is a thing? I'm just thinking about every scenario. Oh, the aliens. Did you see? They discovered aliens. What if there's an invasion? Do we have extra food? If there was a takeover, if this building was to fall, what would happen? What's the safest room? If there was a burglary.
It's like hyper-fixating on everything.
My brain is always on. And sometimes someone will be like, oh, you're so quiet. I'm not.
The monkeys
in my head.
The monkeys.
Every single scenario. Me, I overthink, and then sometimes when you think too much, some of these things may come true, and it becomes like
it's like an affirmation, a confirmation of what exactly
that overthinking sometimes pays
off.
Let me tell you, there's a time in my overthinking, and then we went on a date with somebody I used to date back then, and I always had this scenario where the people you've dated. You find them in the same room. And I always used to think about that a lot and come up with solutions. How would I act? How would I react? Maybe that's a mental illness if you're being
legit, I do the same thing. I'm not gonna lie.
And then I went somewhere with the person I was dating, and here they all were.
Oh.
And it was like,
but you knew exactly what you do. Only taught you your script too.
No, in my mind I was like, ha 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 ha. Here come the Pussy Brothers. Look at them. They look so cute. I am so proud of my work. And then I'll start getting into, now what am I going to do? Do we excuse ourselves? Do I act like I do not know you? I've never met you.
Pretend I've never met you.
Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Faith.
Hey.
I had already run all of this. So I was ready. Mind. And that kind of confirmed that. Even when I'm overthinking,
sometimes it's for a cause.
It's for a cause.
It's like you're preparing yourself for the worst.
I will always be prepared scenario. If something happens.
Yeah, that's great. That's so crazy. I love that. But legit, the insomnia is insanity because I'm again. Correction over correction. So I'm at the point where I worry about napping. Yeah, I get into bed, boop, I sleep. Until my husband is not here. Do you remember that? 2 weeks ago when he left?
She was not sleeping.
I did not sleep for a whole week straight until this man was back. What is bugging me? Let me ask you, what is bugging me? Nothing. It's just in your mind. Just unaenda kulala unasikia ingine imekuamsha nakwambia lakini let me ask you a question. What do you mean? Yeah, I want to sleep.
She's like, I'm getting melatonin. I'm going to sleep.
Guy. 1 week, you guys, I did not sleep. Until the last day, I'm just I'm over it. I'm tired. You could now see the eye bags. It was pretty. I was I was tired. I was so happy to see my husband. And the moment he came back, sleep.
Like a gunia.
I'm not even playing. So I don't know.
Safe. That's just the thing.
I think that's a problem though. Like that's a crutch though. Because like I need to figure out how to not be anxious and wary when I'm on my own. Like the first day I'm freaking out, like is he going to arrive on time? Like is he what if the flight okay, I will not sleep until he gets to where he's getting to. We are on different time zones. Like what do you mean you're not going to sleep until he gets to? And he has a connecting flight, which means we did not sleep the whole night. Plus hey, me, I'm telling you, same problem. Like, I really just need to find a way to not be in that position all the time, because this is something that happens all the time. Like, every single time he travels, I am just anxious and I can't sleep. And it can't be that way. So I get what you're saying. And it's just like the monkeys, they do not shut up. They really do not. Every worst case scenario, you have played it out. And you think you're on your own? Just ask any other firstborn daughter. Ask them.
Na jiko ya neighbor ikiweza pandisha fumes za carbon monoxide.
Thank you.
Tutafanya nini? And I'm like,
what is that sound from upstairs? What if
who is using a jiko? You know.
What if they brought like a clandé and now the wife is going to come to my house suddenly and then why are you worried about neighbors? Surely. Kelele kidogo too. Did they open a new club? Now how are we going to sleep now from going home? But then these people, the government needs to 2 hours are gone. Uko tu hapo. Kelele tu kwa kichwa. It's problematic. But another issue I think that one is one kind of in combination, because we spoke about the reading the room part of the conversation. But like people pleasing and just like not having boundaries.
People pleasing is high on the list.
Because again, you had to learn to just be on all the time.
Exactly.
And to not fall, because everyone has expectations of you. You know, you're the firstborn daughter. You need to go to university. You need. So you became overachieving. Yeah, as just a coping mechanism, because you have to give an example to your siblings.
Yeah, if you don't go to university, how will your younger brothers and sisters go to university?
Yes. If you don't get straight A's, how will your brother, if you don't, which again for me, I think became it was a double-edged sword, because like I became the overachiever, and then now unfortunately my brother by default became the black sheep, because like, why can't you be like, and I was always just like the person he's being pitted against, which is really, really sad. I hated that, honestly. However, back to the people pleasing, it's because you become so used to being this entertainer. Like you are the fool in these British movies, the entertainer, the guy who's always just doing all the antics, pulling all the stops just to make sure that everyone is just like at USA. Unfortunately, you end up becoming such a huge people pleaser. You don't want to hurt anyone because you don't want the repercussions of that.
You're a good politician, basically.
You are very diplomatic. You are very, very diplomatic, and everything has to play out your way. So then that means...
control issues.
Why don't they like me? I'm nice to everyone. I'm usually a really cool person. Why don't they like me? And then the other problem is because you are so keen on making everyone else be happy and be content and be fulfilled, you've always been the mediator, you then end up having very limited boundaries. And I think I've mentioned this. I know how to pick them. Sometimes I'm just like, yo, what kind of a hollard? What kind of a hollard? Like, what kind of a hollard? I've just found myself in situations where, like, I am either evoking the toxicity out of people, because I don't understand. Maybe they're good with other people, but, like, somehow with me, they're just, like, really, really horrible and mean and take advantage of you and are just, like, doing, like, they're pulling all the stops to make your life almost like a living hell, that you are now a servant to their life. Like, you are a means to an end for them, right? They will not care how you feel, because you never really even remember to, how do I feel about that? Like, you never remember to self-check. Like, was that okay? Did what they say sound fishy? Like, you're always just like, in the verge of, nah, it's just me. Nah, there's no way. Nah, there's like absolutely no.
And
so you get
taken advantage of. Making excuses for other people. Somebody is outright rude to you, like, maybe they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
I have experienced people who have bad days and they just act like that.
Yeah, like I remember when I had a bad day, that's how I reacted.
Yeah. But you also forget, me when I have bad days,
nobody is there to consider you.
No, like I don't open my mouth and talk badly to other people. I self-check and I'm like, okay, that's not nice. Maybe I should excuse myself from the situation. But ask yourself why, when other people are having bad days,
they always take
it
it
out on you and you make excuses for them.
Why are you the punching bag?
That doesn't make no sense.
Why are you the butt of the joke?
And this was actually something I even like realized last night, is your ability to self-soothe. So something traumatic really happens, and as it's happening, I know what is happening. I know what is going on. And, you're supposed to cry and feel sad about it. But I was like, it's okay. It's okay. And I kept repeating that over and over again. And even like when like the doctor is like doing a checkup on me, I can't even hear what I'm just saying. It's okay. I'll be okay. I'll be fine. And later on, like when you're talking in therapy, is when she was like, so you didn't cry about it? And it only clicked to me that I did not. I didn't cry. I didn't feel sad about it. I was just like, it's okay. You'll be okay. You'll be fine. So it's just one of those things where you've realized no one is coming to save you. So you always have a solution. And I didn't want to burden someone else with my problems. So I was just like, yeah, it's good. We kept it moving. It's... I'm sorry you're hearing it for the first time.
I am just like still in shock.
Yeah.
And I am again just...
It's okay.
I'm so sorry.
And
I know it's hard, but I think I'm just going to say this not for you guys, just to you. I am your friend.
Yes.
You can talk to me. You can tell me when stuff is going on.
I know that.
And you shouldn't be embarrassed, ashamed, or feel like it's something you can't tell me.
Now you're going to make us cry again.
No, we're not going to cry.
We've already cried.
We're just going to say, I am your friend, and you can come to me for anything.
Yes.
Anything, okay?
I know.
Anything. So,
Yes.
you're not suffering on your own. Let it be our burden. Okay?
Yes.
You promise.
I promise.
You promise.
I promise.
Because you ambush me with information sometimes and I don't know what to do. It's like, damn, girl, in front of them? Like, what? So, self-soothing is like, I think, a thing which you realize. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're doing it. Like, it's almost second nature. Because it's like, this is your go-to thing. I nail bite a bit, like, well, a lot. But you almost like
when you're anxious or nervous.
Yeah, you're just like sitting and just like you're going off. And I realized that David does this too. So it's gotten to a point where like when he's just, I smack him and he does the same. So it's such a weird thing. I don't know. But yeah, self-soothing is a thing that really is a good coping mechanism. But like you also need to, I don't know, somehow get to the point where you are dealing with things as opposed to like automatically like ruling it off as this too shall pass, you know? Hard as it is, because those moments of self-reflection are also so hard.
True.
Like those moments of going like, shit, this happened to me? Like this has happened to me?
Yeah.
And I thought that I was the only one who struggles with dealing with everything, including happy things. You guys,
yes.
We don't know how to react.
I don't know how to be happy.
I don't.
As in, you surprise me with something, I'll feel awkward.
That's my natural reaction.
And then there's a part of me that wants to be performative for you.
Thank you.
Because I feel like you're expecting a reaction.
That's a problem.
So like, surprise! And I'm like, okay.
That is such a huge... And even when you're actually genuinely feeling the happiness, it's like immediately you knock yourself off of it because it's like the other shoe is gonna fall. And I don't want to be in that position of just like, I'm extremely excited, I'm so happy, I have now accepted this thing, and then it's another thing that's gonna be taken away from me. Like, no.
Even sex sometimes becomes very performative. Because I'm anticipating what you're expecting from me. So I know you expect me to scream and say, "Woo, Maliza, unanimaliza." Stop it. Hapo. So like it took a lot And a lot of time for me to have non-performative sex where I'm enjoying it in the moment. But before that, man, I used to do too much. You know? And even now, like, I still have a problem with not being performative because I'm scared I'm going to hurt
the other person,
And remember, like, having a conversation with someone and I'm like, I just want to have performative sex. It's that like simple. You're either hitting it or you're not. And I don't want to be in a space where I'm mean.
It almost feels like you're like, am I being bitchy for not like giving you this standing ovation?
And I don't want to. I'm so tired of pretending that I'm enjoying this. So me, I'll just be quiet.
Which is so awkward as well. It's just like Humelala Kama Kamende.
And it took a lot. I'm like, even in the moment, I'm just like telling myself, don't perform.
And that's the problem. Like when you're so in your head, you don't know how to not be in your head. Like you don't know how to not be thinking about this. Like, oh, he moved in the corner. Oh, I don't like that. But like if I move, then he'll feel uncomfortable. And then it's like you're always just like calculating. Like, oh, that angle, not so much. Oh, that's the spot. But if I move, then it's like you're just like talking and talking and talking. So you're not even getting to enjoy this very beautiful thing. And now you're like, oh wait, have I been quiet for too long? Maybe I should throw in a little, you know.
And even like squirting, that's an issue. That's as in the people pleaser in me, and just
you force a squirt.
No, not forces. I literally cannot. Because I'm afraid I'll ruin your sheets.
Oh no!
I'm afraid it's gonna smell like pee. Like,
because it does smell like
so
pee.
now when it's close, I'll maybe push you off or think of my dead grandfather or something. Just like, because I don't want to do this to you.
Oh, no.
So now like I don't want to have an orgasm at your expense.
Oh no!
And I will feel very bad and I'll overthink it and I'll go home and I'll be like, do I send him like money for laundry? So now like even like penetrative sex to orgasm becomes very difficult.
It's very difficult because like you're in your head like 3/4 of the time. In fact, 90% of the time you arrive first.
I want you to have
an amazing experience at my expense.
But I can't bring myself to do the same.
You're being an eldest daughter is weird, is wild.
Conditioning.
It's you're just so
don't inconvenience
someone else. Like you are the last one to get what you want, what you deserve, and therefore if they're not getting it, and then it's just like you become. My thing is I like to give pleasure, but in reality, like it wouldn't hurt if you got a little bit. You know?
But on my own, things are okay.
2 seconds later, you're done.
27.
Like you're done. Yeah.
Seconds.
It's like you're like that felt like a waste.
Do I have a problem? After content didn't load as soon as. So now, I can because I know I'll be responsible for everything else.
Yeah.
But leaving you and your house, I'm like, maybe like you'll drop me home and then come back to your room and you're like, oh, it smells like pee.
I know.
And then associate me with pee. I cannot do that to someone.
Like, wow, squirting is weird.
It's
a weird experience. It's such a weird experience, you guys. Like, I don't know. It's just so interesting. But like, I think as we are like now wrapping it up and getting into the end of the conversation with EDS, aka Elder Daughter Syndrome. Not diagnosed, it's just the term people have coined for it at this moment. I think also just like the realizing that this person will never get me to do this thing, or not having those expectations of everyone or anyone in general. I think I'd gotten to a point where I have no expectations to the point that it also now starts becoming like a trust issue. Because it's like, I would really love if you did this, but you're not gonna do it. So like, I don't want to think you will do it, and then you don't do it, and then I'm sad and disappointed again. So like, cruising. But over time, you realize that starts to build a lot of resentment. Like a lot of resentment. Like, why can't you do it for me? You're saying you love me, but why don't you know what I'm going through right now? You're saying that you love me, but why can't you do just this one thing that is so easy? I've been saying this like 1,000 times over. Why not just do it? You start to become so angry at not just everyone else, but yourself as well. Like, why can't I just they're not telepathic. I should be able to just tell them so that they can do this thing for me. But then if you tell them, then you don't get the satisfaction of like they did it for me without me having to tell them, so they know me and they love me. It's like a weird, just like a whoop.
And it's because you're always anticipating other people's problems.
Yes.
And other people's solutions. Like, you're always there. Like, if Katham is going through something, I can anticipate. But now when I'm going through the same, and for whatever reason, because I'm hyper independent and I'll figure it out on my own, I have not communicated what I need help with, but at the same time I'm still anticipating that they're going to anticipate my problem and come through for me. Like, it just becomes a weird space because you never communicated. But because you're so good at anticipating theirs, you're expecting that even because you did not communicate, they're going to do the same for you.
Or even when they ask you, you don't want to tell them, but you want them to keep asking you until you're comfortable enough to tell them.
Like, I wish you would just do it.
Placing this huge responsibility on someone else, and now you're mad because they don't know how to do it the way you want it done. It's like a weird space to be in general, because it's just like there's no one who's winning, but somehow you would rather not have anyone win at your own expense. There's just something about it that I don't know, it's cryptically maddening. It's insanity. That's what it is. Because like people can't know everything, and just as you are going on in your head and going through all of these things, people are also living their lives and they also have their own stuff going on. So it's like, why do you want to be so selfless? But then when you are required to be selfish, you feel guilty for it.
True.
It's just...
And, as we're winding up, pressure. How you operate under pressure.
Oh, I do not do well under pressure.
For the longest time, you have been working, under pressure.
I started working at 19, I think the same age.
Exactly.
Yeah, 19.
So, you've always been on point, you always deliver, whether you're a very good employee. Because you have control issues, managerial issues. So, you're always on point. But the thing with this, at some point, you're going to break. It's going to get to its tipping point. And how you work under pressure after that is so connected to how it happened when you were growing up. For example, me, if you put even the smallest bit of pressure, I will shut down. Meta unipatia ka ultimatum kadogo hivi.
Done.
Like, I shut down so quickly. Or like, you give me a time and you're like, oh, but I need this by then. That's it. My brain will just stop functioning. Hivo tu. Nivo. You will never hear from me again. You will never see me again.
You'll never see me.
The smallest bit of pressure.
Oh my God.
I don't know, like, it comes like from protecting your space, and also like you don't like being called out for anything.
Put on the spot.
If you put me on the spot and you expect me to perform, you'll be disappointed, man.
I avoid any conversation that will require me to be on the spot. I would rather never talk about it, because I know if I bring this up, it's something that's bothering me. But if I bring it up, you will remind me that I didn't do A, B, C, D, and that's why we are here.
Yes.
Therefore, we are just going to just live in that car.
Let's just keep quiet about it. Pretend you don't know it.
It's gonna go away. It's gonna go away.
If I ignore it long enough,
it will go away. It will go away. And it's so hard to adult in that.
Even with my health issues, I had back pain. Like a responsible person
who go to hospital.
I told myself, if I ignore it long enough and I stop taking sugar, that's it. I get so anxious. Even going to the doctor's office is a problem for me. Because I feel like I'm going to be called out for things. So now I avoid. Mimi, ujaribu kuniambia vile nitaishi maisha yangu. Can't be me.
Do you know how long it took for me to get glasses?
we'll go in denial. So no, it's the font.
I used to have headaches all the time. I couldn't look at things with bright lights. I couldn't read properly. And then again, okay, thank God for my husband, you guys. Okay, I could have still been blind. He just asked me, why do you have constant headaches? And light sensitivity and teary eyes. Why are you always somehow always bloodshot red?
Why are you suffering?
I'm like, no, you know me, I've always had these headaches. It's like, you've always,
they're mine.
Like, you have now gotten to the point where you are like, you've had them for so long,
they're
you've
part
normalized you.
It's part of your personality.
It's like, it's who I am. I'm the headache girl.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just go to the doctor, get them checked, make sure you're okay. Like, or at least go and find out why you have headaches. So I'm like, in denial. It's like, just when I went to driving school, which I paid, I'm so proud I did that for myself. I paid for driving school. Well, I was given the money, but still I paid for it. Like, I could have spent that money on something else, but I paid for it. So I went to driving school. You know, they write those small ass notes on those whiteboards. And so I'm like, I'm sitting right in front of this fucking board. I can't see shit. I'm like, yo. I very quietly left the classroom that day, went to Optica, got an eye examination. I was told, bitch, you're blind. Like, you can't see shit. Like, how have you not been, like, how have you not died? You know, like, you can't see on both eyes.
Someone walks up to me, I waved to you last night and you didn't.
And like, I'd have to squint all the time.
You?
Anyway, that coupled with now the same, I also found out I have asthma. You're like, yani, you've just become...
Nakwanga too sensitive to dust.
Mi nikikaa place iko na dust nitakohoa. You're like, but you're like coughing all the time, bro. That's a problem. Like, yeah, just go get it checked. Girl has asthma. Like, I realized I have so many problems. But I had been so okay with it because I don't want to trouble anyone. Maybe I don't have the money, but I don't want to make you feel like you need to do this for me.
Yeah.
So like now I've become so intent on going to hospital every time. Let's go to the doctor. Let's go to the doctor. I'm sick.
Heavy.
It's a problem. Like, you are so used to taking care of everyone else, but you're always the last person to take care of yourself. It's just I think seek someone, talk to someone. It doesn't have to be a therapist. Just talk to your friend. Someone who's neutral. It helps when someone who's neutral listens to you. They kind of just show you that, yeah, your thinking is flawed. Maybe think about it this way.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to have a loving, caring partner, I am so glad for you because that solves like 50% of the problems. Not gonna lie, it's quite nice. It's quite nice. It's very nice.
When you can just be... If you're dating a firstborn daughter, just hug her.
Yeah.
They need it.
Yeah.
Finding somebody who just takes that weight.
Yeah.
And you just feel like, I can come out of that fight or flight mode and just relax for a hot minute. It's
not do or
feeling.
die all the time. It's just like a nice... God rewards you eventually. Just know that.
Jehovah
It will be rewarded. But if you are waiting for the reward and it's not coming quickly, speak to someone about it. Try and get help. It's a huge, huge issue. And we're giving you some of our problems. And I know you're probably going through like a lot of your own issues. Please let us know in the comment section. DM us on Two Baddies One Mic. You can just catch us there with your problem. We will listen. We respond.
And please subscribe. Aki.
And share.
I beg of you. You
Okay, maybe not begging, but like...
Me, I beg. Before I start, I open OnlyFans.
Hey, Fit Finder.
OnlyFans siwezi. Fit Finder. Before I sell pictures of my feet, please subscribe. Gosh. My God.
Share. I think Terry made a joke the other day. She said, share with your grandmother.
Your grandmother is a baddie.
She's a baddie too. You just don't know about it.
Mweke translation hapo chini. Anyway, you guys. It is so late. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Turife.
And my name is Kafomi.
Bye.